You're right, Dan. I know that I'm supposed to stay unbiased, but I was cheering a little bit on lap one. That was an amazing start. Just take us through it.
Yeah, it was good. The launch was very, very good. I got a good run. I think obviously the top guys don't want to lead, but I mean I don't think they were going stupidly slow. So I just thought, I'll have a bit of this. I immediately had to underconsume, and I think the pace at the start of the race was so slow, and everyone was sort of sitting behind me. And I was like, okay, this is going to make it exciting for people watching, because obviously my version of under-consuming is, a lot slower even than other people's versions of under-consuming. So at the end of the day, there was only so much I could do. I took the attack modes early, tried to get back in the tow. There was a couple of cars around me quite early on with a bit more energy, so I was sort of in the position to let them go. But it got to sort of like lap 10 or something, or when the first energy call-out started to come out, and I was similar to some people, a couple of percent down on others. So I did a pretty good job, I think, in the opening stint for the lack of efficiency that our powertrain has. And then it gets to that point in the beginning, in the middle of the sort of, third of the way through the race, where some people start to push, and I was around P7 at this time, and I thought that was feasible. So even then, even the lap where the incident happened was the lap where I was going to start hitting my targets, or even over-consuming to stay more or less in position, and then try and deal with the outcomes further down in the race. But for me to try and stay in P3 is not feasible. So I was just trying to, have a smooth race. But I mean, with the lack of efficiency that we have at the moment, our hands are completely tied, I'm afraid. So it's pretty demoralising at this point, especially when a couple of times I've put the car quite high up the grid, and that's testament to me, myself and the team, working very hard to get the car in a good mechanical window in every race, which it always is, more or less. Sometimes we just miss out on the jewels, like Sao Paulo is a good example, because we're 2/10 down in the straights, so there's not much we can do there. But a track like this is a bit closer, and here we are, I'm in the jewels, and I'd hope to be again tomorrow, but it's all very close. Obviously positives, but I mean, I'm getting to the point now where I am getting a bit fed up with the races situation. But I need to keep doing the best I can and hope that we can either improve for next season, or other stuff, whatever.
With the so the fact that being leading isn't really viable for you, was that the reason behind taking the attack mode so soon?
Yeah. I think you try and get in a tow as much as possible, but I knew I'd be over-consuming, so I was going really slow. Like I was under-consuming quite a lot in the first laps I was leading, because I knew everyone else was going to be under-consuming just following the tow. And then it got to the point where, like I said, everyone else was under-consuming, but they're more efficient. So it got to a point, lap 6, 7, where they then started to come past, because they had a bit more than I did. But it was all going pretty well up until then. Again, I don't really understand the steward's decision. There's potentially one or two of them that I don't want to be too controversial, but potentially don't like me. Might be wrong, but I think the decision to give me a 5-place grid penalty for that incident is incredibly harsh. The track is very, very tight there. I was right on the inside from the move with Da Costa, so it was even tighter. Had a slight snap on exit, and I think Stoffel put himself in a vulnerable position. It's not like in Sao Paulo, where I blatantly made a mistake and took out someone. That's fair enough. I deserve a penalty for that. But for this, and for it to affect my race tomorrow, I think it's a joke.
All right, cheers, Dan.